Hey everybody, Brandon Shaggy here for week one of Objective-C 2. Just going to go over my code for this assignment really quick. So my main factory is a phone factory. There's three different kinds of phones that it can make. It can make an Android phone, an iPhone, or a BlackBerry phone. Um, and then for my base recipe, I have um, a set of instructions, which is a string, a set of parts, which will be an array, and then a build time that is generic for each phone, and then the build time can change based on an option for the phone. So, for example, the Android recipe has a set build time of 30 minutes. Um, the screen size is just 0, and then the time per inch for the screen is set to 15 minutes. So, um, when this phone is created, you have to specify a screen size, and then it will add the screen size times 15 onto 30, and that will be the total build time. For the iPhone, it's dependent on the color, so a black phone takes 20 minutes, a white phone takes 30 additional minutes, and then the BlackBerry recipe, the base time is 50, and then if it contains a keyboard, it's an additional 15 minutes. So inside of every recipe, I have this calculate build time method, which takes in a string, which is the brand, and then it returns a string. So it's basically the same for every phone. It's a string with format, and it just says this object recipe needs percent or a certain integer of minutes to complete. So the object gets replaced by the brand, which is passed in, and then the integer gets replaced by this method, this getter method, which gets the total build time, which we set right here. So this is what my storyboard looks like. I wasn't sure if we could use a storyboard if we had to hard code the labels in. I just used the storyboard because I think it's a lot easier because you can just like click and drag your labels into your header file and it automatically creates them as properties. So here's all my properties for my labels. And then here I synthesize them, so you get a getter and a setter for them. I make an Android recipe, and it has to be typecasted into the specific recipe type, otherwise it'll just make it into a base recipe, which we don't want because we need to use the mutator methods. Right here I set the screen size with a method, so this is a setter method for the screen size inches. I just put 5. Here's to make sure it creates correctly, and then I just used, for the strings, I just used the instructions, which just says assemble all parts together, and then I have an array, which I just put random parts in as close to the phone as I could. And then here is where I actually set the text. Since I used properties and synthesizers, I have to use a set text method for the label rather than a dot property. So I use a set text, and then I use an NS string with format using parts, the array, and instructions, the string, and then it inserts those parts in, and then I have the second label says using a certain integer inch screen, which it uses the getter method to get the screen size, and then an object, which again it uses a getter, which is the calculate build time, and then I pass in this string for Android. So that's basically how all three of them work. For the iPhone, you specify a certain color, which is an enum, and then for the BlackBerry, it's a Boolean value of whether or not it has a keyboard. So I'll show you guys here really quick what it looks like on the simulator. So here's my app. It's nothing very attractive. It's actually really ugly now that I realize it. But basically, um, it puts the parts in here, which is an array, so plastic, Super AMOLED screen, and a quad-core processor. And then here's the instructions I can insert, is just assemble all parts together. And then here's where it does the pulling in from the getters using a 5-inch screen, which is what I specified here. This Android, which is the brand that gets passed in as a string or as an object, needs 105 minutes to complete, and that's where this actual setter or getter method gets called for each individual one, and then I do that. I just repeat it throughout. So yeah, that is my first week app. I hope you guys like it, and I will see you next week. Thanks a lot.